and they don't understand the hardship that we have to experience, and they don't understand that we don't even get the vessels. I'm like, but you just answer my question. I didn't say that
Yeah.
Coast Guard men and women are bad. I'm saying that you all are prohibited from doing your jobs because the people
Yeah.
above you who's supposed to make sure you have gas, who's supposed to make sure you're patrolling regularly, who's supposed to make sure you have the vehicles, who's supposed to have TTPS backup for if you apprehend somebody and you sure you have to take them on
Yeah.
land. Those people not helping you with your job. So why are you coming against
Exactly.
us for pointing out exactly what you have a problem with? Is it just because you don't like the fact that we're bringing it to light? Is it because it makes you look bad? I told him, I was like, it's time you all stop taking these things personally. It's time you stop. When we say that we have crime in the country, some policemen just want to be like, yeah, but TTPS does work hard and we doing all that we do. And I understand that you all working hard, but just like you say, you all have the vehicles to do regular patrols. When there is a issue of crime and an area being a
That's all
hotspot,
right.
as fast as you lock up a criminal, is it that the society is creating 10, 20, 30 more? Do you, oh,
He
you
was
just
biting up my USB cord.
just
So
derail that
I
whole
had to
convo
stop
because
it.
you bring a puppy into the convo. My attention span, two things that would take away my attention span like nothing: puppies and babies and kittens. Three things. He's gone?
Yeah, well, I had to. It was an emergency. He was biting up my USB cord.
No, 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 that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, my whole heart just do a leap there because I see a puppy.
Oh. Yeah, but
Anyway,
no, but hard workers, I don't know why they take it so personal. But come on, you're not getting to do your job. Your captain is a fraud. What he doing? So they listen, we need fuel, da, da, da. But yet still America in our backyard, all of a sudden we get fuel so they could patrol and capture how much 100 or million in cocaine or whatever the case is, and you still again can't find who it was going to, where, and we just know it was coming from Venezuela.
and that was the point. That was actually what led to the discussion and the argument because Philip had put out a post that said, the United States patrolling our waters, and all of a sudden the Coast Guard finding drugs and guns
Yeah,
and whatnot.
you're
And
finding
he
the
was
troops now.
offended by that. He called me. He's like, "We need to talk. Why? This is why I can't support your political leader." But it led to that discussion. I said, "Dude, you were the one who telling me and defending the people that you're working with, telling me that you all work hard. I don't
So
disagree with
when
you."
they supposedly kill their co-workers out at sea to hide whatever friggin' secrets, because we know that's what it is they just be doing, he ain't had nothing to say about that. The last fella they killed recently, cleaning the gun on the boat. What was that? I know people who left the Coast Guard who said that if you see something and you talk about it, chances are they will kill. The whole country must be know that already. So what if we bring up that as a issue too? Everybody know that is going on.
You see, Lamar, what people don't want is they know all of the problems and they know what happening in the background, but they also
The truth
know
does
that in
hurt.
some way they might be exactly, and in some way, some of these people, when they look into it, might be benefiting from it. They don't want to admit it. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that's the case with my friend, but I'm also saying that if it is you know that there's a problem in the sector that you're working, shouldn't you want to embrace the solutions for it, whether it's Philip
Yeah.
Alexander saying it or even Stuart Young saying it? Because guess what? His job is Ministry of National Security. And if I found that he was making, as much as I can't stand his whole face, if I found that he was making the decisions for the country, for the benefit of the country, making sure that our borders are secured, making sure that crime.
A little bit too late for that because how his ex stepdaughter, was able to bring in so much million in drugs. Where the hell she is, by the way? She getting one of them ankle monitors. I really hope so. Because it would be very unfair. I think think Felicia had an issue there with her internet, so we shall continue. We are not bashing the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, just for the record. We are just, stating the obvious. Things need to change. They can't be saying they don't have fuel and then all of a sudden you have fuel to jump out because the United States in our backyard. We need to be able to stand up for our country. Right? I think we're going to try and call Felicia back. But what are your thoughts on this whole Coast Guard issue anyways? TNT, let us know. So, in light of all of this whole, amalgamated Coast Guard issues, I mean, it just makes things a lot harder for TTPS when the Coast Guard doesn't do their job. Everything is connected. When customs, port security, everything is allowed to fail, it just makes things a lot more difficult for the TTPS. And if they're already understaffed, overburdened, and they also, have little issues with lack of equipment, technology, training, and all of that, we're gonna have a problem. Yeah, you're back.
Yes, I'm back. Thank you for carrying on in my absence. These days, if I don't get kicked off at least once, Flow would not be satisfied with the internet service that they provide me. But I was listening to you on my phone, and was that?
That's why I plan to switch. I'm going with a different provider. Every day I get drop signals and have to reset modem and all of that, and I can't handle it anymore.
You would Flow as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Satishan and Philip keep telling me to go to Digicel, and I've just been trying to avoid the
I'm going with
installation.
Digicel too.
But
Digicel needs a little bit more, a little bit better with your pandemic package, eh?
Agreed.
There's some people.
Hey. I hope that's the dog and not the children.
Dog, but he's like a child to us, so.
Well, yes, that's your little baby. What's that doggy's name? Which one is that?
This is Sonic.
Sonic. So you have Sonic. I know we ran off topic here, but you have Sonic. Who else?
Issy and Gucci.
Good morning, Sonic. Oh gosh, yeah, that looked like a miserable face there. Good morning, puppy.
Yeah. Yes, miserable. Newest edition.
But that's the newest one joining family. Okay, nice. Yes, back on topic. Sorry, I know, like I say, puppies derail me. But exactly what you were saying, Lima, during the time that I got bumped off, I absolutely agree with. It's time that we start treating our servicemen with the respect that they deserve. Give them the tools to do their job, because some of them, and this guy, just like I say, my friend, he claims to me that he really wants to be able to do his job, but he is prohibited from doing his job simply because he doesn't get the support that he needs. And I don't understand it. We spend $9 billion a year on national security. $9 billion. How come we could give Abood a contract? How come he could be transporting prisoners up and down, but the Coast Guards can't get the gas that they need to patrol the waters of Trinidad and Tobago? We have a plan for maritime security that's sitting down on the desk of the National Security Minister, just doing nothing with. How come?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you do that, then his ex-stepdaughter wouldn't be able to get her shipment.
Right? I mean,
first of all, First of all, supposed to resign because of that. Because she was right under your nose and you didn't know that. She not now doing this. Look how much she
The
get
question
catch with.
is, but how you know he didn't know that though? That's my question. How you know he did not
That is
know?
why
I
he
find it
was
very
supposed to do the honorable
crazy.
thing and resign.
I saw Dave Lux put out a post yesterday. Where did talking about same Cristiano? Where did she get $15 million worth in drugs?
Yeah. Is she gonna get one of those ankle monitors?
Hopefully she does because I mean I heard that she is
Who's gonna
out.
do that?
We're not hearing anything about her case.
No.
They're prisoners sitting down and you see that what you raised there, Lima, with her and the ankle monitor and bracelet. As much as this is something I wanted to discuss a little bit later down, she, in my opinion, is a perfect example of privilege, the same privilege that you were talking
Yes.
about in society.
Yes.
Because look at the two people she got caught with. Of the three of them, Christiana was the only one who got bail, who could have raised the money for bail.
And she
And I
was the
think
one with the
about,
weapon.
and she was the one with sitting on the mountain of drugs. And when you look
When
at the
you
next
heard
two,
the amount of drugs, it started decrease when everybody started finding out who stepdaughter, ex stepdaughter. Come on, that's
well, yeah,
foolishness.
exactly, because
So
the
the
man
law,
communicates right away.
the eyeballing of drugs is okay for the black people to run, but the high society ones is we could do something different for them. It's the same thing. Remember the other Abu that they got caught growing the marijuana? You don't hear nothing about him again. But everybody else you're locking up and you're jailing and you're burning their product.
And we talked about that yesterday with the burning of a field in Rio Claro yesterday, Anthony and I mean, it was
Wasting the
absolutely
product.
mind-boggling to me. Exactly, the Prime Minister asking for ways for us to move forward after COVID. And I'm like, dude, simply put, grow weed and export it. Countries right now looking to purchase cannabis for their medicinal marijuana. It is much safer
Yeah?
than using some of the pharmaceutical drugs that they're trying to pump into your system. Cancer
Yeah.
patients, glaucoma patients, they need it. Why are we so, I answer my
But
own question in my head.
instead
Why are
of
we so adamant against it?
exporting only, why not open it up to, let's say, a research facility here? So we could hire our doctors, our lab techs to research the benefits of that and all the other bush we have all over the place to find out what other cures we could get here. Hire our people. Yeah, you could export the marijuana, but you give our people opportunities to do things that have plenty of people, I'm sure, don't want to be doctors alone. They want to be research doctors or research scientists or whatever the case is. Open it up and let people have an opportunity. Why not?
Indeed. But we kind of went a little bit off topic there. So many things happened from the puppy to me getting kicked off and all of that. But I want to circle back to the ankle bracelet monitoring issue, which is where we started off. Because there were a few other things that I wanted to raise. And Lima, particularly you as the one of the co-chairs of the Women's Arm, I wanted to discuss this. They were mentioning that the ankle bracelets were going to be used to monitor victims of domestic violence. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that. I Let me get your thoughts first, because I will tell you my thoughts on it, which
Wait,
are
the
mostly
ankle monitor is for the victim or the abuser?
thank you. That was my first question. It sounds like it's supposed to be for the abuser, but my question is, how does that work? If I go as a woman to Gasparilla police station to report that my man just beat me black and blue, and normally I will go through a process of getting a restraining order and I will get that paper, etc., which we all know does nothing in the case of a man who really wanted to hurt you and damage you, etc. They're saying that we will no longer have that issue where women would report
So
crimes and
yeah, but that's that's
report
that's
abuse.
that's also bullshit because once you go to the station, they take the report, you still have to go to the JP for the JP to order the protection order and all these different things. So that itself is a process. So you could be waiting just to see a JP and get killed as soon as you walk out the station by the same man. So is it going to be the same process for this ankle monitor? And then on top of all of that, what is the ankle monitor going to show? How much times he hit me? Where he hit me? Was it severe? Could I have died from the lash? Is he going shocked every time he raises his hand?
Well, it apparently is supposed to go on his ankle, and if he gets anywhere close or in close proximity to his victim, it's supposed to trigger an alarm, and I guess Amalgamated will call the TTPS and say, go get this man who has breached his parameters. But my question is, how is that going to work though? Maybe you have a better idea of this than me. Ankle monitors aren't for people who are convicted criminals. How is it this morning? We just good
All
morning,
right.
my darling.
Yeah, the thing
So
about it
you have
is,
some
I
very
don't
cute
understand.
distractions on your end, I have to say. Some very cute distractions. Go ahead.
I don't understand though how that is going to be effective though. I mean, ankle monitors is supposed to be for people who did petty crimes, or well, it depends. It depends, right? But each country has their different system, right? You get out on bail, they give you one or some kind of thing so they could monitor you. I know of people who were charged of manslaughter and stuff that served their time and still have to wear ankle monitor even though they were released. Right? That's first world countries. But here, I don't understand how that for abusers going to work, because our problem is not necessarily that. Our problem are the systems in place to help the victims, because most times it's people living together. We don't catch in Nenen to get a house. How you gonna move the victim out of the house or the abuser out of the house if they don't have a place to go? We don't have that connection or connectivity with our systems. So you remove the victim. If she has children now, you have to remove her and the children. We don't have
You
things
just
in
hit
place for
the
that.
nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head. 9 out of 10 of the women getting abused by the person abusing them, they're living with them. So is it that the ankle monitor is going to go off when he leave the kitchen to come to the bedroom? Like what? Like how is that supposed to work? And I'm
I
reading that
don't
it's
know. Is
supposed to
it
be
that he's, as soon as he
consensual.
raises his hand in a violent manner, he gets a shock that will make him, like, okay, right, I have this thing on, no hitting. I don't understand. That's not dealing with the issue. The issues all boil back down to our people not being able to deal with stress, emotions, feelings, any kind of thing like that. And they need to start working on mental health, teaching people how to deal with these things so you would avoid all of that. So you need everything to work together. And we're not dealing with the issue. We just want to put plaster on sores. Ankle monitor, what are really gonna do?
It
I
is
could
not
have one
going to
now
do anything.
and somebody beating the crap out of me, and then TTB say, well, we get a call 10 minutes ago, but we're waiting on a vehicle because the sergeant went out to buy food. I don't know, the stupid excuses that I've got. We don't have a vehicle, it down. Them and all might have
I
gas
laughing,
problems. I don't know.
I laughing, but it is not funny at all. And Lema, as the head of the women's arm, I know violence against women is one of the topics that you and Hadassah and they would discuss and talk about. And like you say, we're not dealing with the issue at its core. Right now, we face an issue of abuse and domestic violence in this country. I'm reading that another senator is calling for the ankle monitor bracelets to be given to registered sex offenders too. And I mean, if you're appealing to to people's heartstrings and protect the children and protect the woman, you'd be like, yeah, this is definitely what we need. But what we actually need though, and rather than using these things to pull at your heart and get you to say whatever price you spend on the ankle monitoring bracelets, I don't care as long as our women and children are protected, which is what they're hoping to do. They're hoping that when people read this, they're not going to ask and dive deep into the issue, which is what are we doing as a society? What are we doing as a Ministry of Social Development to actually correct the
If
causes of
that's what they
abuse and
plan to
incest
do this
violence
whole
in our society?
ankle monitor thing, then every man in Trinidad will end up wearing an ankle monitor.
If what? Sorry, you break up there.
Every
If what?
I said, if this is how they plan to deal with it by not dealing with the actual issue, then every single man in Trinidad and Tobago could be ending up wearing an ankle monitor.
Well, I know that's a exaggeration, but I have to point out the good men in society who know that they will never raise their hand against a woman or a child. And
Right, yeah, you wouldn't, but then it have wicked women who will do all kind of stupidness and go to the station, he beat me. Because he didn't give you the money to buy some Gucci bag or whatever the case is, or you're vexed because, or some foolishness, because it have those kind of women out there. I just saw an issue where Rundle Fields had to get a judge, a magistrate, and the police service involved where a man had a stroke and the woman insisted on going to take out a warrant for the man. She bringing man in the man house and beating him and all kind of different issues. Right? I just saw the video with that. It have wicked women out there. They just do their stupidness. So all of these things they need to look in as part of an issue as well. You have women who do that, and a woman could simply go in the station and bawl, he raped me. And the police will be like, yes, all right. And you go, and then that man he lost his job because of the allegation. And it don't have to be true, you know. But everybody in the neighborhood call him, yeah, that rapist, so. That's how we are. So a lot of thought has to go into this. They need to figure out who the ankle monitors are for. I would suggest people like petty thieves, sex offenders, because you really need to see where they go and monitor things like that. Because I mean, if a child in an area gets raped or missing, the first person they're going to look for is him. But then you have the ankle monitor to see all where he has been. So for that particular instance, he could have very well been innocent, but because you know he's a sex offender, they will target him.
what about having a proper registry for sex offenders, though, Lim? I think
They
that was
supposedly have
something that
one, but I don't even know if you could actually type in, right, let's see, Port of Spain, North St. Anne's West, let's see how many we have. I don't know
well,
if
I was
it's like
just
that.
about to ask that. Have you ever been able to go anywhere or go online or visit somewhere or get a
I
pamphlet that
don't
tells
even
you how
know
many
the website,
you have?
anything on, I don't know any information at all. And that's our next issue I have with this country. We don't give proper information. And if it's not that, they're giving you too much about nothing concerning the issue, which is like what a press conference about COVID with Terrence and Paris Ram. And I don't know why it is. Paris Ram just have this conflicted look on his face. It's like, is he in pain or something?
Many people suspect that he is very much he has a silent gun to his head or something because he really acts like that. A few times I've ever managed to stomach watching one of those press conferences, the man, he looks like he's constantly being threatened behind the scenes, and when he comes out there, it's like, listen, say what we tell you to say and shut up. Don't say anything else.
Yeah.
So I can't say for sure what is his issue, but he certainly doesn't come across as somebody. And that's the issue in the country. And the people that usually you find that these are the people who pay in your salary. So you have to toe the line as it pertains to what you say and what you don't say. Anyway, wrapping up these social issues that we jump in all over, but I'm really enjoying this discussion. I sent you an article with an NGO that recently opened its doors to battered women, and on the whole topic of domestic violence, etc. I think it fits in really well where we're discussing the issue of not having real measures in place to deal with the issues of domestic violence. And I applaud any NGO, any nonprofit, any civil group, any activist, any organization, any church, anybody who would extend their arms and extend their hearts and create safe spaces for women and children and even men in society. Randall Fields, you mentioned him just now from the Single Father Association. I applaud that man. I give him morale kudos because it's not easy to fight for men's issues in a country that where men supposed to be these macho men, and people don't want to
Yeah.
believe that men can be abused too, or they don't want to believe that men have issues in terms of fighting for rights as fathers and things. Just like you say, I know about those wicked women who will deny men their rights, keep the children from the fathers just to spite him because he moved on with
Yeah.
somebody else. Men do face a lot of issues, and I applaud people like Rondell and the organization that he represents, and many others that open their arms and doors to victims of abuse, be they male or female. And but while I love this initiative, I again we seem so much. At least this is my interpretation of it. Lima, you could give me your views on it. But we seem to be forever finding patches for the issues that we should be really dealing with on a core and on a fundamental level. Because yes, we need safe spaces for women, but we also need social intervention into men and women abusing each other. You don't think so?
Yeah, but a more important thing too is that your social development ministry, instead of Camille study about God don't sleep, she should mind her business and do her job. All these things fall under social development. What is social development doing about these issues? When a woman, first of all, what they need to do is go through the whole system. A woman comes into the station to complain, her husband beating her, she have the marks, the bruises, some of them days old or whatever the case is. Sit down and go step by step to figure out how police do it. When you go in the station, is they will call you, they will have you to sit down. Because I went into the station to ask them how this is done. And he said what they would do is they would call you, whoever is the abuser.
Okay.
But I mean, how
You were frozen
effective?
for a second there. You might have to repeat that
Oh,
because
I
I
said
think you were frozen for a second. Yeah, go ahead.
when I spoke to the officer, he said they would go with the victim to the house and they would try to reason with the abuser. Now, depending on the email, he will probably be all like, yes, I wouldn't do it again. I'm sorry. As soon as the police go on, oh, you call police for me, then she might have to call them back. So we don't have a system that is 24/7. So the police could call somewhere or a home or any kind of thing and say, listen, we have an issue now. We need to remove the victim and the children or the victim now. There's nothing like that. They don't have a psychologist in each station or a therapist in each station to discuss counseling with the victim immediately. It's either the officers who might have a little common sense or a little knowledge might be able to counsel. So all these things are issues. All these things are things they need to look into. How you expect a system to flow if it have gaps in it? When you remove her
Precise.
from the house, where is she going? To sleep in the station? You can't force people out of their own house. And that's what the officer was saying. You cannot force them out of the house. You could ask them to separate and stay apart from each other. But at some point, you must bounce up. Both of you have to use the bathroom. Both of you have to go in the kitchen. And then it have some people who will antagonize a situation. She might, tell you he's a bully man or whatever. You get vexed, you pick up the frying pan that's on the stove, or he might tell you, he sees some stupid message on your phone. Oh, you're with Tom, Dick, and Harry, and you're with this one and accusing the woman. We know how these things go, but we don't have connecting systems to deal with it immediately, and that is part of our downfall. You can't depend on TTPS for every single thing, but it have things that you could accommodate and put in place so TTPS could call whoever it is, whatever hour of the morning or whatever, to get help for the person. We don't have that. So if you need help, it better be between 8 to 4 a.m., 8 to 4 p.m.
Well said, Lima. And it, I mean, it circles back to what we raised at the start of this, when we even started this whole discussion from the ankle monitoring bracelets down, that we really need a very holistic approach to dealing with all of these issues that we're facing in society. And ankle monitoring bracelets in a country that works would probably be a very positive thing. And I don't want to knock it just because it was something done under the PNM, or that it was done under a man I can't stand. But I don't want to knock it for that reason, but I want to point out and just summarize everything that you just said, which is
Right.
which is that we really need to have systems
Okay.
that address the issues from all angles. The TTPS, I look at the work that Gary is trying to do with the Child Protective Unit, and he also set up sorry, he set up a unit to deal with domestic violence, and I'm seeing that he's trying to train his officers to become more sensitive. Normally, when you went to the police station as a rape victim, they would treat you like you were the perpetrator. I
Your dress.
know of a friend
Where you have
personally,
on.
yeah. I know of a friend personally who had an experience of violence against, and she went to the police station and she almost left because the way they dealt with her, and this was years ago, the way they dealt with her as a victim in the situation was horrendous. And Gary has
Yeah.
since done a lot of work in terms of getting the TTPS up to scratch. And I mean, there's still, of course, work to be done with that, but just yeah, you still have to close all of the loops in the system. Dealing
Yeah.
with the victim from the TTPS level is great
It,
and all,
it
but like you
starts
said,
with
we need a
their
Ministry
training.
of Social Improvement. Was that sorry?
It starts with their training too from in the academy. I think they need to do a holistic change there, because when you walk in a station, you just automatically feel like a criminal. It doesn't matter. You could be going for a certificate of character and you thinking, oh my God, they go find something at stole a woogie or some kind of ship in this long time and they will find it. You just feel like a criminal. And then it's how they watch you and they come upstairs. I went in Belmont police station already to tell them that I was going on a walkabout. And when I walked up the stairs, the glass door, everybody could see you coming. So when I walked in, everybody faces like, oh God, please don't be something hard. So as soon as I opened the door, I was like, relax, guys. I just came to tell you all something. And they're like, oh, okay. Whew. So it's like, geez and ages. And then some of the women aren't exactly friendly or approachable, or I don't even know what to say. Some of them I would just be like, no, I'm dealing with the corporal in the back there. Because some of the women's like attitude. I can't handle that.
You've experienced that too. I noticed that with me, and I don't know if this is a me thing or a woman thing or just a TTPS woman thing, but usually women police officers that I have to deal with are very mean, and they,
Yeah,
again, I don't know if it's me
very
that they're dealing
manly.
with like that, or if it's because of the environment that they're in, that they feel that they need to be extra tough to compete with the men, because it can't be
I
easy as a
what
woman in the TTPS,
what
right?
I would imagine it being is like you have to match up to the man to feel as though you'll be taken seriously. Because in a group of men, I spoke about this a while ago. In a group of men, they would tend to ignore what the woman had to say and deal with men. Yeah, because I's a man and I know and man this and that, and the woman kind of have to toughen up and man up to be taken seriously on that level. And if it's not that, then you sleep around the station, because I've heard of those women too.
Well,
When you act like that,
that
they wouldn't tackle you like that. So that's the next thing Gary had to deal with. But then I don't know, the commissioner probably.
I have had a fortunate few incidents where I dealt with women police officers who were very nice. But I remember the first time I ever got a driving ticket, my car was shutting down, and this beast face woman, it was her and a male partner, and this beast face woman insists she gave me a ticket for not wearing my seatbelt, even though I explained to her, Mom, I am shut down on the flyover. Every 2 minutes, I have to come out, open my bonnet, and make sure the steam that's causing my car to overheat don't burst the engine or anything like that. You really about to give me a ticket for a
For
seatbelt
that.
that not moving? And she insisted. I went to court and I fought that ticket and I won. And I swear to God, if that woman knew where I was living, she would have probably fined me and flogged me or something. But that was my first
Probably.
experience with a woman police
My
officer, like a
first,
police
my first
officer.
experience with a female officer was when I was a teenager. I went climbing with some friends in St. James. We went Pizza Hut, and then we ended up walking to St. James, and then my money ran out on my phone. The payphone outside Western St. James Police Station had a coin stuck in it, and I needed to call my mom. So I went to the station, and when I walked in, this huge woman, she had on her khaki uniform and everything, and she's coming out. Hello, good day. Can I help you? And I was like, I got into already. Thank you. And she walked off. And I was like, my God, I feel I was going to get handcuffed there. And I ended up going to the male officer behind and asked him. And I told him, Officer, let this be the only time St. James Police Station have to serve and protect me. So he laughed and he's like, what do you want? I said, I need a phone call. He said, we don't really do that, you know. I said, yeah, but I'm a child. So he's like,
Yeah,
what? I could call the number for you and I will think. I say, right, if you're calling, don't say corporal, whoever, or sergeant, whoever, to my mother to give her no heart attack, please. Just tell her to call me on
yeah.
my phone, please. And he did exactly what I told him not to do.
He said the police call him. Uh, listen, again, I used to go through an experience with police officers where every other time I had an experience with a police officer, it used to go from good to bad to good to bad. So I remember one time shutting down on the Beetham Highway with a group of friends, and we real off topic here, but we could probably old chat a little bit before we go into a break. Shutting down on the Beetham Highway with a group of friends, and this was a positive experience that I had from between about that before they removed all of the lights on the highway. So you remember we used to have traffic lights by Ranguez and then by
Yeah,
a little by Monctop and stuff. Between
yeah.
Monctop and the Beetham, the car kept stalling, and what we were saying to ourselves, we were heading to Alchemy nightclub. I remember that on Wednesday night or Thursday night heading to Alchemy, and car full of women, huh? And all we were saying is, boy, I hope we don't shut down any Beetham. I hope we don't shut
Yeah.
down any Beetham. And as we approaching the Beetham, the car just does its final stall, and the car gets silent, and we just crawl in silence until the car finally stops on the shoulder. And we're all there sitting down like, boy, we in for it right now. And out of nowhere, we saw this police vehicle pull up behind us, and they were like, "Ma'am, can we help you? Whatever, whatever." I was the first person to come out, and they were laughing because they were wondering who was in the car. They actually thought it was some criminals because I think we were driving a black rental car or something. And they said all they saw was a red heel poke itself out of the car. That was me. And they were asking, what going on with all this hour the night? And I said, well, we shut down. He said, well, we have to protect you because I don't know if you noticed, but have some men already marking you. And I didn't even notice that there were across the road a group of
Yeah.
fellas who were just sitting there. And I mean, I can't remember those officers' names. They actually um accompanied us all the way. They waited for the tow truck to come and they followed us all the way to Alchemy. I have no idea how my friends still wanted to party after that. I personally was traumatized, but that was a
No,
nice
they really
experience
do
that I
have
had.
good officers, eh? If they really do have good officers. Some of
They
them,
they do,
it's
they do.
just one or two bad apples just make the whole bunch bad. And this is why I don't understand they don't deal with those rogue officers. I mean, I used to watch Law and Order religiously. They used to investigate. They used to watch certain things. Okay, all of a sudden you driving some shitty car, and then bam, you driving some expensive car. They would check your financial records and all these different things, and it's like, wait, I wonder if we just do that here.
Probably not. And for
I see
anybody
police
who's just
officers
joining us
out
in
and
live,
then
please share the live stream.
I mean, nothing wrong with a police officer moving up in life and all these things. He might be a police officer, his wife might be something else, and they take a joint loan or some kind of thing to move up and thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But you, as a police officer, you now join the service and bam, just so you all up there. Come on, they have things to red flags that you would see. You're always sporting some expensive watch or some kind of thing. Come on, it have things that will be red flags. Where's our IA department? In the States, they're afraid of that department. Do they even care about our Bureau of what it is? Investigations or whatever it is against police? Do they even care? Psh, it's like,
Does that work? And when I say does that work, I don't really hear about, and I remember when I say I used to have good and bad experiences with police officers, and it always followed. If I had a good one, the next one that I had would be bad. One of the bad experiences I had, this wasn't personal for me, but I remember I was in a carnival fete coming out Girl Power in when they used to have it in Jenny's car park. Coming out of Girl Power, I saw a man, probably drunk, most likely, and he, you know, when you're drunk, you feel you're badder than bad.
everybody.
And
Yes.
I don't know what got into his head, or I don't know what the incident was about, but it was a group of officers surrounding him and he was arguing back with them, and all I thinking in my mind is like, Godfather, please don't let this man lose his head and continue this argument, because I just know what is going to happen. And so said, so done. I just saw them. I guess they find he was rating up too much. And I talk about a group of men, a big hardback men, about 3 or 4 or 5 of them, took him by his arms and dragged him to the car park over on the other side. And I just saw them start to beat the crap out of this man. And if it's one thing that really, really bothers me, Lima, is police brutality. Something about it, it is just, it, I don't
Yeah.
know, it scares me. And it scares me because for a while I used to be afraid of police officers, and that's something that I really hope that, you know, this commissioner of police can, I know he's
What
been
they need.
trying to change that perspective of police officers, but for a while for me police officers represented a threat, something that you should be afraid of, because a lot of them
Yeah.
toting guns and
Ignorant.
feeling like big man, and they ignorant and they take advantage of the power that they have. And when I asked if that bureau works, it's because you would find, especially in this country, when you're friends with everybody and you know everybody, you don't want to prosecute your friend if you see a report coming in there saying that he beat a man halfway to death. And to me, an internal affairs division could only work if it's absolutely disconnected from the people that are running it.
How
It or
If I were Minister of National Security, I would have taken an entire batch that was now finishing training and used them. They have no blend in the services yet. They have no record batch. It have no, well, I'm a partner or any kind of thing like that. Well, I work with that one in 76 and we know each other. So, that kind of thing. You need to take clean, untainted people to put in a department like that. But you know what is another issue that I need to know or ask is that police officers witness a lot of gruesome murders, attacks, violence, all these different things, especially Child Protection Agency. Do they get counseling? And it's not that they seek it themselves. Is it mandatory? Because men in Trinidad, yeah, I could handle that. And then you hear he becomes an alcoholic, a gambler, smoker, or some kind of thing to pass the pain that he has seen or witnessed. Do they have mandatory therapy sessions or counseling? Things to discuss, talk about it, get it out. That's something that would lead to police officers being, violent on the job. You would take out your frustration on somebody, and it doesn't take much to trip off somebody. A small 2x4 little girl come in the station, some big hardback man beat up the girl or whatever, that could trip him off because he could have a daughter that age and go and half kill the man. These
in
issues. gonna be popping up, so they need to start looking at those kind of things. This is why I keep saying training and equipment, for certain things, and you need outside help with this, people who already have the experience. And I'm not talking about only like FBI and CIA and those kind of training. You're talking about all the different arms all over the world. You have to look at how effective they are, abroad. Look, I went Belgium by my sister a while ago, and I saw this huge officer walking through the market. Huge. The man is like a nigger, and he's just walking. You're hearing him before you see him. First he step in hand. Okay, I watched him, and it's like, if I was to try and do something, just one kick alone from that man, and I'd be dead or paralyzed or some kind of thing. So, and you saw he commanded the respect, and nobody did anything. Here in Trinidad, some of our police officers, the uniform barks more than they do in the uniform. And a lot of people getting into the service for the wrong reason. Yeah, they want to serve and protect, but yeah, well, all you do me wrong when I was small, I could do for all you. Had a uniform, let me see what you could do. And to advantage people. So it's all these different things.
You also have a lot of, you also have a lot of, let me not use that word a lot of, but you have people who have things to prove, and people who, rather than be a bad man, maybe I'll be a bad police and hold a gun legally. And some of them clearly are not doing it for the right reasons. And those are the people that I think Internal Affairs and, well, what is the equivalent here? The Bureau of Investigations?
Bureau, yeah, something to that effect. And then
those
they have
are the
the
people that
authority, which I don't understand how we could have two bodies for the
there are a lot
one
of
thing.
things in the that I don't understand. There's police admin, there's the setup of the police service is a little confusing to me. But those people that we were talking about, we really need to weed them out of the society. I was sitting down on a park bench around the savannah. I was telling the story of when I bounced up Philip doing a live video around the savannah, and I ended up joining him after it, and I told the story of the homeless man who passed in front of the president's house. But before the homeless man passed, another man passed around the savannah, and he said Philip Alexander, and he said, yeah, I was just listening to the convo between both of them, and he was saying that I want to tell you about an incident that I just had, and I was laughing to myself because it's like, even on a wrong empty savannah, somebody will still find Philip to tell him about something that happened. And he was saying that he a little way up the road, a police vehicle stopped in front of him, and they asked him, where you going? Because it was close to 8 o'clock, and he said, well, I just going home in Belmont. They are walking home, and they say, you want a lift? And he says, sure, no problem. And as he reached to open the door, they laugh and drive off. And this is what he was telling Philip. And I remember thinking, I instantly thought about the police officers who would have
the alcohol to the homeless.
Gave the alcohol to the homeless man. And I realized maybe during COVID-19, as they don't have bandits and criminals to chase after, some of these police officers might be getting a little bored. But those are the kind of people that we really need to weed out of the.
You will always have work to do. You have warrants to go to look for. You have people who just being idle.
But
you could patrol communities.
I've been very sarcastic and when I say that. Obviously, but I mean, idle hands are the devil's workshop, and Gary definitely needs to look at those kind of police officers that, given the good police officers, like the one who stopped and helped us on the beat, giving them the bad name. Anyway, it's 9 minutes after 5. We are due for a break, so we're gonna take a quick break. Come back. What was that?
Yes.
What did I say? 9 minutes after 5.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm dyslexic. It is 5. What's that?
Have you had your coffee?
I did. I have I had a full mug this morning. Maybe during the break I need to make another one. Not sure what's happening with me and that. But it is 5 minutes now, 6 minutes after 9. Did I really say 9 minutes after 5? Anyway, it's 6 minutes after 9. We're gonna take a quick break. Please share the live video during the break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Antel is Trinidad's most reliable and technically experienced ICT company, providers of quality structured cabling, Cat6 data fiber, and power cables. We also stock cabling infrastructure basket-type cable trays for server rooms and data centers. Antel also installs and maintains video security systems including cameras, alarms, and electronic entrance locks for businesses and residential properties. Call Antel 674-1406 or 783-9250.
Public health in Trinidad and Tobago is a catastrophe. It is a fiasco. It is the sixth and seventh circles of hell. Some people say public health in Trinidad is sickening. The Prime Minister agrees. Judging by his latest decision, 4.5 years later, as Prime Minister, the man who spent upwards of $25 billion on public health in this country has chosen once again to seek his own health care in other jurisdictions. Public health in Trinidad and Tobago has never worked to the benefit of the public under no government at no time. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, are spending money we do not have, building hospitals we do not need, in a public health system that does not work. The Progressive Empowerment Party suggests that in place of the fiasco that exists as our public health system, that we replace it all with 41 public health centers, one for each constituency, operated 24/7, managed by nurse practitioners with on-call doctors capable of treating dental, optical, and medical emergencies, to function as 41 emergency rooms in this country, equipped even for minor stabilization surgeries, and with dedicated ambulance service. This would function far better than the chaos of the centralized public health system that does not work. How it should work, how it works in foreign jurisdictions. A call to a call center should be answered by a trained operator who knows how to ask proper questions so as to guide paramedics listening in on the line as to what your condition might be, so that they can prepare to treat with you when they arrive. The call to that call center that identifies your location plugs in GPS coordinates that guides the ambulance directly to you, so they don't have to call asking for further directions, looking for landmarks. A call to a call center that guides the ambulance to your house in under 10 minutes, the magic time that science suggests required to save patients in emergencies such as heart attack, stroke, and other massive failure. The paramedic operated ambulance is stocked and equipped with everything to treat with just about every emergency. But in specialized cases, there are special kits that they could add in quick time. And that is why the questions that a trained operator asking would advise them and guide them, so that when they come to you, your treatment begins during transportation. The paramedics then take full responsibility for you and initiate conversation with the closest emergency room where they're taking you. The doctor on call or the person in charge would then exchange information with the paramedics so as to further guide the treatment that is being done while you're being transported to the emergency room, and the emergency room would be preparing to receive you. Arriving at the hospital, the paramedics are greeted by the emergency room team, who takes full control of you, guides you into the treatment room, puts you onto a bed, releases the stretcher, and releases the paramedics and the ambulance. In a first world country, at that point, the emergency room staff are responsible for you, and they treat and discharge you, or they treat and admit you to hospital for further treatment. If at any point along the way the worst should occur and you expire. There are morbidity and mortality conferences that you can request beyond an autopsy if suspicion exists that someone along the way was remiss in their responsibility or negligent. And everyone in that chain, from the operator at the call center to the ambulance driver, the paramedic, the emergency room team, and any doctors and nurses treating with you after, are aware that there are serious consequences for malpractice, including charges of depraved indifference to human life. This is the level of public health we are entitled to in this country. We spend $5 billion a year for our public health and get this fiasco in exchange. Isn't it time we did better? The Progressive Empowerment Party says so, and says that there are people in the world that we could hire and empower and employ to provide proper, adequate, professional, first world public health in Trinidad and Tobago, as described before. We can have a better country. We can have proper health care. It's a matter of voting. It's a matter of choice. What we do next is important. I am Philip Edward Alexander, and this has been a little more than 3 minutes to a better Trinidad and Tobago.
We are back, and as you can see, I am wearing a mask to advertise for our new batch of masks. These are the Ninja Fit masks, so if you want to look like a ninja. And this, as you can see, the print is pink for any lady who would like to get a pink printed mask. So if you'd like to order these at $30, please call me on 769-4590, or let me give you another number, 752-1676, to purchase your black ninja mask. So I'm just, like I say, wearing it to advertise for this new batch of masks that we have. But we're back from the break, and we are going to touch on the topic of privilege, because Lima put out a post, I believe it was 2 days ago, Monday, or was it yesterday? No, it was Monday, and we started to speak about it a little bit earlier in the program, where we were talking about the Christiana arrest and just what it meant in terms of privilege versus people who don't experience privilege in society. I was going to read the post, but I think, especially as it was written by Lima, I asked her to read it out for us before we start this discussion. So Lima, the floor is open.
Okay, so it goes, some people forget or aren't aware or aren't empathetic enough to understand that privilege is a real thing. As slight as we may look at it, it's something not to be overlooked. Too many times people argue and state, but that's common sense, or big people should know better. Really? According to whom? Your upbringing or my own? Some people were born with gold spoons, some silver, others plastic spoons, and for many, none. Privilege today can be something as simple as family support, or a mother and father in your corner, a mother pushing you to do your best, both parents active in your life, inheritance, money left from grandparents or parents, a solid education, entering a good school, getting lessons, paid tuition, a job in your daddy's factory or company, etc. So not having to worry about where you get a job or your next paycheck or where you sleep tonight is not a care for many, but a worry for a lot. Choosing a vehicle to roll around in, or even being able to qualify for a vehicle loan, can all be classed as privilege to the nowadays reality. Can we please be a little more compassionate and empathetic towards our fellow citizens? Can we stop the selfishness and greed? Can we stop the hypocrisy? Because all gods don't sleep and they frown upon that type of behavior. The point is, our government has a responsibility to educate, empower, uplift, and give equal opportunities to our citizens. What we choose to do with that opportunity will determine our result, but we all deserve equal opportunity.
Very, very, very. And Lemoy, I know you put out a lot of posts as DPL and head of the women's arm, but this post, I think for me, and I don't think I shared it. I'm going to share it now. I did love it though because I think it described our society in a nutshell, and I want to deep dive into that whole issue of privilege because not many people pay attention to that. A lot of the arguments that I see on Facebook, that same argument that we had with the KFC versus doubles, that fell into the
Yeah,
category of privilege, because as a
yeah,
1% business owner, and let me don't use that word because people again seem to have problems with it, but as a multinational company with thousands of chains across the world and operating in over 180 something countries, KFC I don't think was starving for business. Whereas you
no,
have had the doubles vendors who may not, they fall under the informal sector for those who don't pay taxes. And again, this is an issue that really grinds my nerves because people wasn't studying doubles vendors not paying taxes when they were ordering, lining up to order forward slide. They weren't studying or
yeah,
they don't study the fact that many of your hairdressers and nail techs and barbers not paying taxes. But when it came down to the issue of you wanted your fried chicken and it turned into a black versus Indian kind of discussion, we had
yeah,
an issue with it all of a sudden. But I think that was a very good example of the privileged that you see in society right now. And a lot of the defenses and a lot of the excuses that we make for those who have privilege or came from a position of privilege, a lot of those excuses we do realize rooted in the fact that some people have a greater advantage over others, and that
yeah,
here in our Trinidad society, you just pointed out that part about inheritance. I went to the school that I went to SAGS, and I I guess I was very naive to the fact that because there were a lot of girls who came from families with money and wealth and stuff, and I look at them today and I look at where they are in life, etc. Some people you see have to work extremely hard, and then some of them it is a little bit easier, and it's never about competition or analyzing, but what you just said there in terms of being compassionate and empathizing with the people who may not have the same advantage as you is all part of building a society that is fair and equal and that is, concerned with the well-being of all.
but another thing too is like, even if you know, like I went to school with I went to private school. I had passed
Private.
for
Oh,
Mokrapi Junior Secondary School.
okay, secondary
I
school.
went to Corpus Christi College, and I had passed for Mokorapo Junior Sec, and my mother asked me if I wanted to go. I told her no, because at that point in time you're hearing a lot of fights, and it was the kind of brutal fights you're hearing, the girls and the boys and all kind of thing. And I said no, I don't want to go there. And then it had a stigma. The girls would have the hair completely gelled down, and they just didn't look like they went to school for school. And I said, no, I really don't want to go there. So I went to Corpus Christi. And while I was there, I remember a girl having an issue. Say, like, all of us, we didn't do well for a midterm or some kind of thing. But that was the thing we used to do. We wouldn't study for midterms, but, end of term, you would focus your efforts on.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't do well in midterms. And the girl, I remember the girl saying, you see, all of them could have come junior sec with we. And I was like, are you crazy to end up like Olia? Cause they had a hair gel up and earring in it. They didn't even have space in the ears for earring again. And all kind of different things, nose piercing, who would maxi driver, conductor, and all kind of thing. So I remember telling her that, and it ended up in a huge argument. And I told her, well, you should have talked to your parents about that. If you didn't want to end up like that, then your parents had a right to send you a private school. So it's only now I could see back then that, she probably didn't have that. They didn't have the money, or whatever the case is, to be able to send her to private school. So all of these different issues are things people, and you hear people saying it now, well, that's not my fault, that's your fault if your parents didn't know better. And that's not the approach to have or the attitude to have. You don't know what her parents' upbringing were like. Some people focus really isn't on education. It isn't on family. Some people, even though they are a family, is every man for themselves in that family. So we
Exactly.
need to
And
start looking at things differently. I mean, some people just
and I
really
mean,
get really angry where you just really want to hit them where it hurts. But gosh, I mean, we really can't be like that. And if social
and that's
development
what
was
we're
working,
lacking a
these issues
lot.
would be good.
That's what we're lacking a lot in this country, and I see it on so many levels. I was talking on the show yesterday, or was it the show with Michelle on Monday? And one of the values that my mom taught me, and it's something that I hold very dear. And every time I'm in a situation where I want to judge somebody, I find myself asking, I don't know what their life was like. I don't know what journey they had to take. So until I could put myself in your shoes, I shouldn't judge. And I mean, sometimes you're tempted to look at people and some of the things that they say and they do, and you
Yeah.
want to, like you say, hit them where it hurts, but you also don't know what would have shaped this person's mindset, what experiences they may have had to go through in childhood and adulthood, etc. I mean, just taking I did a post that spoke about you should have the same advantages whether you're from Sealots or San
Right, as you say,
Fernando. And
the
I mean
equal
that was just
opportunity,
yeah, equal
equal
opportunity. But if
opportunity,
you
but
look
obviously
at it
the results would be different.
exactly, if you look at a child, Limo, who would have spent their life growing up in the ghetto, for lack of a better word, growing up in the ghetto. And I remember when I was younger, somebody told me, and I didn't understand it then. I had to grow up and go through life and join politics and all of these things for it to finally make sense to me. Somebody told me, you really need to be thankful that your mom is not a drug addict and that she made sure you went to school and study hard and that you didn't end up a girl. The person told me this specifically, that you didn't end up like one of them girl and powder. This is how she said it, one of them powder night girl on the street taking man. And that's how she said it. And I mean, I was like, why would you even think that? And looking back on it now, is because I grew up, and just like you, Limo, grew up in Belmont, and you look around at some of the influences, you look around at some of the what we're exposed to in terms of the ebb and flows of crime in the community. You look around at just how many broken homes and societies, and there's not about judging who does look like what and who does powder in the neck and what, but it's also looking at the fact that if you come from a certain circumstance, chances are, yes, you can, if you push yourself really hard, chances are you can rise above it. But chances also are that you may succumb to the circumstances under which you were born and under which you were, um, what is this word? Under which you were nurtured, because there's that whole nurture versus nature. And I do believe that nurture plays a huge part in how you turn out as a young person, who you become when you grow up as an adult. And a lot of the times when I hear people say things like criminals don't deserve a second chance, and I get angry because I cannot imagine what would have led somebody to go down a road where a life of crime becomes a norm for them. You and I, Lima, were on the same side of an issue, that issue with the woman who robbed the Massey stores with bread and what was it she took? Bread and cheese or something like that.
Garlic and chive and thing to
Yeah.
cook.
We want yeah, we want the same side of that issue, because I think both of us can understand that there will be circumstances that maybe you wouldn't go through or I wouldn't have to go through, but somebody else will have to go through that could lead her to be in a situation like that. There's this woman called me some weeks
Yeah.
ago, to cry on the phone to tell me that her husband has been locked up for the past year. She wait every time they go to court, either the judge not turning up or his case not being heard or the police officer who charged him not there, and they think it's a suspected case of is a case of mistaken identity, and she just so frustrated. She had her wits end because she have two or three children. He's not there. She doesn't work. And I'm thinking this could be the same woman that we saw robbing that same grocery just to feed her children. And many people
Yeah.
judge the woman at the time. People were like, why she would steal and prosecute her to the full extent of the law. Yes, stealing is wrong, but also we have created or we have allowed a society where a woman, everything that I described, a justice system that doesn't work, so her husband's stuck in prison. She, as a young
Yeah,
woman, she
but with
probably
the
can't
Ministry
afford
of
to have
Social
the
Development again. How she ended up in a
exactly, and
position like that? Maybe she had a job and she lost it or some kind of thing. But where's the department to call or the department to say, well, listen, I'm down and out and I need assistance? Where is that department? There's none. You have to fill form here, fill form there, come back next week, go for characters, a passport picture, go back for this. And it's a set of up and down and all over on all around. How is it to the citizen? And as Trinidadians, we were supposed to stop and make Camille Robinson Regis do her damn job instead of fighting the woman. Let the police do their work or whatever the case is. But Camille had a responsibility to find out what was the problem. And for all men who just be stealing and food to cook and all these different things, obviously that's not right. But yet still, our allowing people to steal billions and millions, and problem with that. So the hypocrisy is real. What's going on there? You're okay with so because she steal a few $100 worth items, that's wrong. But we could still buy the millions.
not exactly what you're saying there, Lima, because and the people who pass in judgment are usually those people of privilege, and usually people who are option of privilege that we have in society are going
Who have
back to the
never
prestige.
been in a situation where they never and didn't know where the next dollar was coming from to buy a meal. So you're going to a grocery. Some of them said she could have asked. You know how hard it is to ask somebody, hi, could you? How people gonna watch you and be like, just so she asking me to buy? I don't even know this woman. Yes, it will have some people who be like, fight for you or whatever. But it have those who be like, no, my money is for me. So people need to be realistic as well. How it is hard for people to ask, buy this for me. I remember once I switched handbags and I forgot my wallet home with all my cards home. And I went in Massey to pay for some things. And I'll pick up. And when they told me the bill, I did counting out and I realized I have enough money. So I had to start looking at coins and I keep in back the line now. And it's like, but I don't care. I don't care. I pay and like you will check your coins. Coins is money. So when I realized I checked in and I was short like $5 or whatever the case is, and like, shit, what am I gonna do with this now, boy? So I studying, okay, which item to put back. And then the guy was like, he handed me a 10. I was like, oh. And then I, decided to whatever. I found the $20. But that was embarrassing. It was my fault, but so imagine to have what you expect people to do in an oil-rich country. And we had so many things that we could have kept. We had sugar, cocoa, coffee, coconut. We could have do Zabica. We could do the marijuana for export. We could have tourism. We could have kind of different things. And yet still they're closing down every industry one by one, regime by regime. Was in this position where the is rich because it have no middle class, and between the poor versus rich you have Indian versus African.
I was saying that, sorry, my mic was muted. I was saying that you were breaking up a lot there, so I hope, but I managed to get the gist of your message. Um, it I was saying earlier on that, I wanted to come back to this issue of Christiana because when you raised it and when I saw that post from Dave Lux last night, I asked the question to myself, indeed, where is Christiana at this point? Is she, I heard from a very reliable source that she threw a boat ride sometime last year, and I'm like, is this the behavior of somebody who's waiting on a trial to be called? And then I thought about the two other people that we were talking about that she was arrested with. What is their situation right now? Are they in a nice big mansion or gated community waiting out their time until their case calls? Is it that we're going to hear that her case just never calls? And I bringing it up because it is also another way and another means in which privilege allows those who have to have an advantage over those who don't have. Even in our justice system, you have the fact that she was able to raise how much was it? I can't remember how much million her bail was, but they
Yeah.
obviously did not have those kind of funds. They didn't come from a family that could have put up houses for sale or pawn. However, they raised the money, but they didn't obviously have that. And when you look at it, that is a perfect depiction of our society. The ones who buy in and bringing in the drugs, they get the slap on the wrist, and the ones who on the corner selling the drugs
Yeah.
fair, getting locked up, thrown in the back of a police van. Either they're not getting bail, or their bail is so much that they can't even afford to come out. And it's similar to what we do with the white collar criminals. People defend them to no end, not understanding that they are the reason why all of this is happening in the country is because the white collar criminals come from a situation of privilege, and we allow them to continue, and they are the ones who run in the drugs and the
Not
guns
only
from a high
that,
level.
right? Not only that, you see, it also boils down to, I believe, is ignorance and stupidity when they say, but the little black boy didn't have to do that. But when you don't have money and somebody come and say, here, what, I'll pay you 10,000, drop this from point A to point B, and you have literally no money, you wouldn't grab at that opportunity. You know how much $10,000 could do for you in one day? So imagine you making 10,000 every day just to drop a small package from point A to point B. Obviously, you will take it. And if you have your government not giving you opportunities to make that kind of money legally, you're going to take the opportunities. I sat down in Dairy Queen sometime last year, trying out for the first time their burger, and a guy came in and asked about his application for employment, and they said they didn't even look at it as yet. The manager wasn't there, and the frustration on that boy's face, and sorry for him, because he was like, you know what I going to do now? I stood up there disappointed, looking around what to do. So you telling me that is our opportunities for our younger in KFs? That kind of stupidness? I mean, yes, you could pay a bill for the cases, but that shouldn't be the only opportunity for them. So what? Frying chicken, making burger patties, that is all you see for your people? Why they couldn't say, well, here what? We have farming, we have tourism. You could go into the boat, you could go into doing this. Why not? You're supposed to make every available option and give your people
those same people that we judge when they end up in lives of crime. And I don't want to say a life of crime anymore. It's a culture of crime, because crime is literally a culture right now. There are some places where you grow up in crime, you know you're going to you're born in a life of crime, and you know you're going to grow up to be a criminal, because that's what we have cultivated in the country right now. There's a literal culture of criminality.
Yeah.
Men who will never even think of going to try and get a desk job or apply themselves in any way because we have created a cycle of crime. Their parents were this, they are going to be this, and they're probably going to pass it on to their children as well. And I would say that we would judge people like that, but we're not studying the fact that a man, just like what you say, a man like that walking into Dairy Queen or to KFC or to any fast food restaurant or to Amalgamated, you're barely making enough money to cover your bills at the end of the month. You have two children to
Yeah.
mind. What other opportunity do you have? And this is again, I would always say this is not discounting the people who fight against all odds and make it and climb up the ladder and did what they had to do to get where they are. There are people who say, I grew up in this area and look how I turned out. Good for you. I'm very happy for you. But what about those who didn't? Why not look at the fact that we didn't create a society
Yeah.
that has enough opportunity for people like that? Maybe I'm not good at a desk job. Maybe like you say, I would rather work in agriculture, but do I want to sit down and be one of the 40,000 farmers that we have in Trinidad and Tobago right now who growing nothing?
But not only that, land, because it's a set of red tape and all kind of things are lame to do it. And then when you do that, pesticides are expensive, fertilizer expensive. They want to help your Minister of Agriculture stupidness on TV. Like if he even know how to plant anything, I try my little 2x4. God, everything dead, everything, right? So I can
You and
imagine how
me
hard it is
both.
for a farmer,
You and me both. I was so proud of mine, and I was
right?
telling you
I'm
about that.
talking
My neighbor
it's
have
good.
some. Was that sorry?
I say I'm not stopping with that. I will continue trying. Imagine you put thousands of dollars into this and you lost out. You still can't call police for when pray their last name because police come, they watch to see how much you lost, whether they fill out a form, and that's it. Well, you just get compensation for them thing. And have to put in drainage and all these things. I'm saying go in and do it for you. Clarence, I don't know. He have no blasted purpose right now. They're not helping you with that. So what is really there for the farmers? Wasa ain't helping you with water. You use canal water for that. But then what? Your crop's going to die. You're losing your money. So what is the next step for farmers to do? Not to go into drugs and guns too?
Well, that's what led to the
No
fishermen going
plug
into
guns.
it.
Let them
I
manufacture
didn't.
gun because I mean I don't understand.
Sorry, you were breaking up a little bit there. I don't know whether it's your end or my end. Now that I know you have flow, probably both breaking up for all I know. But for the viewers, I hope I hope you're picking up the bits and pieces of what we're trying to say. I wanted to go back to the crops that you were talking. Oh my God, I just seen the time. It is 9:39. Do we have any birthdays today to celebrate? Satish, please WhatsApp me any names. I did not do birthdays yesterday. I'm assuming we did not have any birthdays yesterday. If we have any today, please let me know so we can shout them out. But also it's after 9 and the lines are open for you to call in and talk your talk even while Lima and I talk our talk. But you can call in and talk to us. You can call in and talk to us and join the conversation this morning, the very lively conversation that we're having. I wanted to tell you about my crop too, Lima, because I saw what you were going through and my neighbor, the chickens that you hear on the live, it's because the neighbor behind me has some chickens and some rogue chickens too. I think they're spiteful as a matter of fact. So when I taste them in the morning, I think the way of them getting the revenge is attacking my crops. And I went the other day and I saw that they pulled up my garlic, all my chive, my watermelon gone through. I had some pimento that I was trying to grow. I don't know if they eat that. It was very sad, and I think just like you, all of my crops are dead. Actually, gave me some lettuce to plant, and I'm frightened to plant it just in case them rogue chickens come back and attack everything I have remaining. But just like what you're saying, I thinking about it on a wide that a large scale. Imagine you have 10 acres of things planted, and you wake up one morning and look out
Yeah.
into a field that's empty. bandits come and wipe you clean. Like we don't pay we don't give our farmers the support that they really need to feed the nation. I would be frustrated if I was a farmer too. I would be frustrated if I was a fisherman, and I was saying that's probably why we have so many fishermen turn fishermen out there on the nations fishing for everything but fish. Probably that's why, because we frustrate them
Yeah,
to the point that they have to find other sources of income.
yeah. They could have had, tourism. Some of the fishermen who have the boats don't actually have to do fishing. If they don't want to, they could, take people on tours up, around the coast. All these different things. Why we don't have these things under the Ministry of Tourism? Yes, tell them dress properly because some of them just look a little scary. And yes, for a little safety kit or whatever in case they have emergency walkie-talkie transit thing on the fishing headquarters or of a beach they opt of, and so that they could always have a direct coast guard in the event of any sort of emergency. I prefer to take a boat from Blanchisseuse area and go Maramas Bay and all those different things and see instead of hiking, because it's 2 hours to hike the area and then a further hour to hike up. Why? If I really wanted to see all of that, let me take the boat. So have tours do that. Have domestic tourism. What is wrong with these people? There's
Limba.
absolutely nothing wrong with any of those ideas, and you haven't, well, fishing villages. I Did I freeze again?
You're not freezing, but you're breaking up a lot. And again, I'm not sure if it's on your end or just mine. My video seems to be okay, but yours is sticking and coming. But I think what you were saying is have local tourism where you could that boat idea that you had
Yeah,
of taking a boat and going to the different beaches. There are some beaches, Lima. I on Saturday after we did our hamper distribution, we went up by Akil to drop him home, and Akil lives on a piece of property on the north coast that is overlooking the north coast. And I swear to God, that was some of the
yeah,
nicest waters I have ever seen in Trinidad and Tobago. And I
yeah,
was asking him, how do you
yeah.
get there? How is it that you hike? He's like, there's a hiking trail, but there's a real bush and a real ravine you have to climb into and go down. And that boat idea that you just raised is a perfect idea. Why we don't have similar to when you go to Tobago and the boat takes you not down the islands, when it takes you down to the island pool and on
The
tours
reef
and so why
and
we don't
island pool.
yeah, why we don't have a boat that allows you to go to the various beaches that we have in Trinidad and Tobago? Not everybody want to go Morocco and compete with hundreds and thousands of people who want to climb on the beach. I hate to go on the beach when it have people, to be honest. Not everybody want to go Las Cuevas and Macri. We have so many other nicer beaches and more serene and secluded beaches that we could be offering tours to here in Trinidad. Why are we not
Yeah,
capitalizing on that? I think some of the biggest numbers of visitors that Tobagonians get is actually Trinidadians, and that's true. I used to
yeah.
go. I used to make it a point to go to Tobago at least once a year because I just love
But
Tobago.
you don't have to go so far to Tobago. You have
Exactly.
certain culture. You have a lot of hikers. You have campers. Secure certain beach facilities. Make sure you have everything for campers. You know, family oriented social people, we love to lime. Certain beaches that turtle nesting sites, fine, no problem. But you could have up some areas of beaches where you have the sit down around the fire. I don't know, you could try roasting your marshmallows, whatever you just do. Chill on an evening in the beach and build it in such a way so you don't disturb the beach You don't disturb turtles and all of these things. You could believe all those guys know how to do those things. Why you don't do those things? And have it in such a way so you could remove it, carry it, or whatever. You could rent it from the beach. You could, oh, come on, you had people. Guys are waiting for the beach to make money. You could have things like that. You just make sure and tell the people you have to pay a caution. So the event and NAS, the caution fee, we will clean up the beach after all year. Why not? I don't understand. It's not that hard. You had to know your people. We are social people. We love to line, gather. How much times you go by the beach, you see the family next to you cooking, they offer you a plate of food, they offer you a drink or whatever the case is. Come on.
That never happened to me. I going to the wrong beach. I never went to the beach and get offered food. I need to go at Tyrico.
Tyrico. That's where plenty families just go. But that beach in a mess. They need to do it over. But then, if I get them too much ideas, they'll want to pay billions for that. And it wouldn't
I have
cost
to
that
say,
much.
since the COVID-19, I was watching this nature group put out some pictures. They sent some drone footage of what Maracas and Tyrico is looking like now that there's nobody there. And I said to God, it made me feel to just parachute myself over there because it looks so nice, so
Yeah.
perfect,
You
so
saw down
serene
the
now
water
that
looked
with human
clean.
beings not there littering. What's that?
I saw pictures of Chaguaramas blue. I've never seen water looking blue.
Exactly. I was looking down over the Chaguaramas, not Chaguaramas, but by Cookery there near West Shore and Bayside Towers and stuff. And the water there, was it yesterday? Yeah, that I was looking down at the water there and it was looking so nice and so clean. I was like, maybe every couple of years we should have a COVID-19 pandemic because the waters that we see now, I know is a result of the fact that we don't have people littering and dirtying and boats passing with the dirty water or
The
toxic
Agriculture
water.
Environmental Management Authority did what they were supposed to, wouldn't have these issues. Everybody going environmentally friendly or whatever except us. We going back in dinosaur age. Why they don't put things in? All now is implement all kind of thing. No more plastics, no styrofoam, all these things. Because people have no food stuff to buy and all these things. Find other ways to recycle already have in stock for other purposes.
We don't have any birthdays today, but yeah, no birthdays. But if you'd like to call in, we have the last 10 minutes left of the show. Lima, we didn't get to talk about your school agriculture idea for implementing agriculture in school. And I did want to touch on it really quickly, seeing as we're talking about all of these ideas and we were talking about farming a little bit. If you want to just read your post as the last topic before we wrap up today. Actually, I don't think you should read the post. Come to think about it, because you're breaking up so much that people may not get the gist of what you're trying to say. But we can talk about it. She put out a post that was talking about doing agriculture, letting schools or incorporating agricultural projects in schools as a means to help feed the community. And where I used to work, we had adopted a school in Brasso. And when I went to the primary school during the recess period, Lima, the children, rather than go outside and play games and stuff, they had a garden in the back where they actually were growing produce that actually won an award in the village where they were from. And I was thinking it would be such a great idea if we could have done that on a wide scale level. If it was not mandatory, but if it was an option available, whether you're in the city or you're living in the bush, in terms of going to school, that you'd be able to do something like that.
No, be mandatory because at the end of the day, you need to teach your children from small food independence. So it should be mandatory every single, especially in our constituency. Like, look at ours, Port of Spain, North Inter. Look how many schools are alone in Belmont. You can imagine if each school did 5 different food, and everybody have a child going to one of these schools. Some people have more than one child going, the boys' girls school. So you could imagine how much different things your children bring in home every day. You could come home with okra, tomatoes, things that take too much fertilizer. Then you could get it part of the community involved. Let a company sponsor, and you don't have to get them the money, but you could drop the fertilizer, you could drop bill. If they don't have water, pay for WASA to deliver water for them to where the plants, some kind of something. One
It's
that
also
have,
a good
in
way
a
to
flooded could come up with a recycling way to recycle water and store it. So while not suffering for water, you could transport it to the next school. Why not? These are things that you need to start innovating from small. Get the young people involved because these are engineers, contractors, farmers. Come on, this is what we do.
I was thinking that is also a good way to expend energy rather than fighting during recess and bullies on the playground pushing around little children. Why not take that energy and put it into digging up some dirt and planting some okra, like you say? That and is actually teaching children values from young. It's also teaching them whether or not they go on to be involved in agriculture, whether they go on to grow their own, have their own farming plots and gardens at home. It's still instilling in them a respect for farming and a respect for the hard work that the farmers of the nation well the hard work that they put into feeding the nation. And I find that maybe that is one of the reasons why we don't have respect for farmers as a nation right now, because people don't appreciate the hard work that goes into making and feeding the nation and the hard work that goes into rearing crops. I mean, look at our gardens right now. I tell you, the chickens and them,
Yeah.
they destroy everything. I could imagine as a big farmer just how hard it is to see your crops withering because the ministry of him in the ministry, well, yeah, WASA not sending water or watching your crops struggling because you're not getting the feed or the fertilizer that you need is too expensive or it's just way more expensive to farm than it is to actually just go and buy these things for yourself. I can imagine the frustration that they feel waiting so long just to get a acre of land to grow something. I mean, we have so much land here that just withering away, and the fact that we could grow, sorry, build buildings on it and give it to friends and people who would have financed your campaigns rather than give it to the farmers who need it shows that we have never had a real respect for the farmers. We need to, like you say, teach our children to respect the farmers, teach them to respect the people who literally put in
Yeah.
food on the table of the nation.
Yeah, that's why we need people who have these concerns and late. But basically, you don't want to hire the same people who have us in this position again. You need people who actually know about the hardships. You go and sit down on your scrub bench in the hospital, so you know the poor health care. You know what teaching is like. You know the hardships of teaching. You know the hardships of agriculture. You know the agricultural system. These are the people they need to put in place. A fresh new party with these kind of, instead of some 1% party who fighting some war to have all in the same position. How the same people that put you in the position, how you expect them to get you out of it?
That's the that was a quote I was trying to remember yesterday when I had Anthony on the show. I was telling him that you can't solve a problem on the same level that it was created, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember what I was trying to say, and I can remember that quote for nothing. But I remember it today, and it is applicable today, and it will be applicable tomorrow. Is the reason why um I was telling Natalia last week and Hadassah and Natalia and Tahira, sorry, on the show that we had, where she was telling me that one of the few people that she could respect in this government or in terms of local government was the present councillor Belmont East. And I was saying that, I have no problem with her, but as hard as she may be trying to work, or for whatever she may be trying to implement, she's still doing it within a system that created the very problem that she's trying to solve.
Yeah.
They created the problem of crime in Belmont. They created the problem of garbage being a big issue in Belmont. That's something I campaign against, and I pass it every day still on the side of the street. They created the
Yeah.
problem of no water in Belmont. All of the issues that they created, we can't now expect them to come and solve it. Putting a person in a position, especially in a position like local government where you have no real authority, of course you're
Yeah.
not going to get the solutions that you're looking for. So this is why
That's why
I
plenty
agree with you,
councillors
Lemon.
don't do anything. Up to now, I don't know who my councillor is for my area up here. I haven't seen the person. I don't know who they are.
And you
But they
working in the
working
corporation.
but they're working for a party that does not seek the benefit of the people. So it's like they self working overtime for a system that doesn't work, and your own higher ups have you doing that.
Well said, and indeed. We have just about 3 minutes left for the program. It is 9:50, well, 2 minutes now, it's 9:58. Lemma, it was a real pleasure having you on the show this morning. The convo for me was very, it flowed, and it was very fun having you on. Thank you for bringing the babies and the puppies on to give me something to ooh and oh at during the program. I don't really get in all of the shows that I have. I'll give you some time to give your closing comments, anything that you'd like to talk about before we wrap up for the day, especially now that your
Um,
internet seems to be waking up.
well, thanks for having me on the show. It was actually nice. But we always have nice chats on these shows, anyways. Yeah, we always have nice chats on these shows. But it's time Trinidadians see the issues for what they are, and we actually need to want better. We can't expect the same people to give us change after the same thing. It's like you're giving us with one hand and you're stabbing us in the back with the other hand. So we need to see it for what it is, hypocrisy and this tribal foolishness. On either way, both of them doing foolishness. Set a position. We really aren't. Two of them
We-
have opportunities at governing us, and we're not in a food independent state.
Well said. And like I said, Lamar, thank you very much for joining me this morning. It's Wednesday, it's hump day. So for many of you who may be heading out to the grocery to get double points on your card, good happy shopping. I myself need to go to the grocery and top up on some items. What yes, I told you about the masks that we have on sale. We have these pep masks, new masks on sale, very limited quantity. We did not do many. These were supplied by one of our very peppers, Alice Mohammed, who made these lovely ninja masks for us. Thank you very much for that, Alice. You have given me another version of the mask that I'm wearing. I hate wearing these masks, to be honest, and it's something that I want to discuss on the program tomorrow. Actually, some outlines and guidelines for when we do restart the economy were published yesterday, and masks being amongst one of the things that they have yet to determine is mandatory or not. I was telling somebody on the show last week that I went into Pennywise in Long Circular Mall, and I was the only person who did not have on a mask, and they watched me like I had leprosy. A girl actually followed me into the store to ask me where was my mask, and I'm like, it burst in the car. I'm sorry, I'm not staying long. She's like, you want to go and get it, and I will hold the basket, and you hold your mask while you're shopping. I'm like, whoa, you're really afraid that I give you COVID, boy. But it is actually now the reality of the situation. Some places aren't even letting you in if you don't have a mask. Is it mandatory? Is it not? We're not sure. We will discuss it tomorrow in depth, though. Trying to be go Divided Diaspora, thank you for tuning in this morning, and I will see you back on the program tomorrow, Thursday, the 7th of May. Remember, during this period of social distancing, isolation, let's remember to stay together by staying apart. Bye bye.